Hello, my name is Frances Fox, and I am a trained government remote viewer. I'm an independent business person now, but I have a degree in political science, and I ran a business very successfully for 30 years. Thank God. I left when I realized I was no longer aligned with my business, that I was bored, that I wanted something different, and that I wanted to do something that helped people. And that's what I'm doing today. But let's go quickly into the map of the United States, because something has shifted dramatically and it needs to shift back. So here's the map, which I guess I did not put up. So let's get it up there now. Give me 1 second. Okay, this is the map of the United States today. I did this approximately an hour ago. I really should put the time on the maps because things can change in 5 minutes. This is the map. In the heart center, we have the spiraling in the opposite direction of the clock, which means an anchoring of pink, which is the energy of love, and that is good. The very distressing part of this is that the frequency, which are those waves that go across horizontal, there is only male energy that is vibrating in this country right now, regardless of the female energy that is anchoring heart energy from the center of the country and spiraling out. In other words, most of the time when I do this, if I do those lines, and I'm looking to see quickly if I have one that has it, I don't have one right now, but the map generally will show, and I hold the two pens in my hand at the same time. I hold the pink and the blue pens, and then I go with the waves across the country. That means there's male and female energy. That's the frequency. The balance of male and female energy is what creates light. When you're going to do electricity, you have a male conduit and a female conduit. I probably don't have the language correct. And when you put them together, you get electricity, which is light. In the country, the United States, we do not have female energy right now. We have only male energy. And we are too close to war on too many different fronts. Trump, I don't know if you said that if Iran continued to suppress their people or whatever, that you would go over there. Why are we going out of our space and our lane to self-correct, to correct a behavior? The United States had riots when they had all the Black Lives Matter and all the places where people shop, whatever, they were in flames. If anybody had even suggested to come to the United States to put out that fire, we would have all been insulted. What the hell do we have to do with those riots in that country? Nothing. But that's the kind of behavior that will happen if you only have male energy. The male will want to do something about it, and the female, which is more receive mode and more nurturing, will balance it out, and then it will make more sense, whatever the decision is. So it's interesting because I should probably do Europe before the First World War, the Second World War, do their frequency, and we will probably find that the male frequency was dominating the female frequency, at which time you can go to war at the drop of a hat with the female energy working together. You will not get that. You may get war, but not at the drop of a hat. It will be thought out, it will be understood, it will be accepted. Now, your right leg, right now, just without moving your legs, check and see where your legs are at and your feet. Your right leg channels the energy of the male energy of power, your right leg. Your left leg channels the female energies of wisdom. So in the United States today, we are lacking wisdom. Today, not 3 days ago when I did the last map. Now, interesting that somebody had something up on X saying that Trump's right leg was limping, which would be the power leg, which would make a person, the person, whether it's Trump or it's me, easier for other people to control them. And if you have as big as imbalance as what I'm seeing right now, with only the male frequency vibrating in the United States, you're going to have the situation which I'm going to say right now. I actually looked to be able to sketch the Merkaba, which would have indicated that the Galactic Federation is totally supporting and protecting the United States, and I was not able to find it. And that makes sense if you are only vibrating half of the energies that you need to vibrate to be a balanced human being or a balanced country. Moving on, we have submarines next to Texas having to do with Elon Musk and submarines next to Florida. So somebody is going to make something happen. Now, submarines triangulating. I have discussed it here before that when they want to make something big happen, and that also happened in the north part of Venezuela several months ago, they had a triangulation. One was in a ship offshore. This was before the Americans put all their military out there. And they had two other places, and they were going to create a natural disaster with that triangulation. Well, you have that submarine triangulation in Texas and in Florida. Tesla, Elon, the president of this country. The United States is missing the female frequency, which means it's no longer going to have the protection of the Galactic Federation, because the Galactic Federation can protect and protects something that is balanced and something that has determined to stay balanced. And that is not what is happening this week in the United States. I don't know where my other map is. That would be so sweet if I could find it quickly. Actually, my other map, if this is it, December 26th. The other map looked great. This is great. This was this 26th of December. Now, what happened between the 26th of December and now? Well, we have interesting visitors in Mar-a-Lago. They're very male dominated. We have people wanting war because that creates money. Whatever it is that happened, Trump, it needs to unhappen. You can't have people around you, Trump, whispering in your ear because it's to their advantage to continue to be militarized. You can't do that. It will take us all down, including the person that's whispering in your ear. I was not happy when I did this map. It's behind me. We don't have the protection of the Galactic Federation. I want it back. So we need to ferret out those people that are that do not have their male-female energies balanced. For 20 years, no, 30 years, 40 years, since I was a child, which they don't do anymore, but when I would go to the doctor and they had that little hammer and they would hammer your knees to make sure there's a response, there was never any response on my right leg. I wasn't channeling my male energy of power. I was a mind control victim. I was used as a prostitute, white slave, courtesan, never compensated, and many other things that I would have never done, but I wasn't channeling my male energy. And it took me a long time to realize that I did not put my right foot, which is what channels your male energy of power. It was never on the floor. It was always lifted up on top of the other foot or on my knee. And it took me probably a couple of years before I was comfortable putting my right foot on the floor and leaving it there. So, for anybody who's in charge of anything having to do with the United States, you need to have both of your feet on the ground. You don't want just female energy because then you become victimized. You want both. But we are not vibrating female energy. And we have too many people that would like to have a war because it's to their advantage. For whatever reason, we're not going to get into that. Okay. You do not know who you are as a human being because that's never been figured out. The people that know the most are the secret people in the US military, Israeli military, Russian military. They were the ones that did all the studies on consciousness. Okay, consciousness is not about chakras and loving everybody. It's about your mind, which is miraculous and creates reality and can do magic and have superpowers, and it flows. But the people that know the most about it are able to manipulate the human being on the physical level. Great. You don't even know when you're dead because too many people are popping up in mortuaries and they're not dead yet. The people that know the most, which is based on thousands of years of information, esoteric information, knows that you are not really dead until 72 hours after you stop breathing. So people like me, when we see that somebody gets an autopsy within 24 hours, when their physical body was declared dead, we're horrified. That person could still come back. They probably won't, but they could still come back. No autopsy, please. Well, after 3 days, it's no good. Well, you know what? All this investigating really didn't get us anyplace, did it? All this curiosity about things in the moment at this time, this year, 5 years, no good. Why don't you expand your lens and say, I want to know about consciousness, bigger picture, wider lens? We didn't do that. Or, yes, some people did it. Military mind control people did it. They know all about how to manipulate you because they know all about your mind. So I'm sitting here still stuck in my place. I do not have mail. I only get advertisements. So my mail has been redirected from my old address, but also from here where I live, which is in Coconut Grove. So somebody's going to be hearing about that later. But meanwhile, if they're having court hearings, nobody has ever informed me. And apparently there's something big going on in court having to do with me. I have not been asked to appear. The accusations are that I'm mentally ill, da 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 da. And nobody's informed me, but I don't know that they didn't try to inform me via US federal mail, and I never got it. And of course, that is a big um, crime in the United States, except the criminals control the government here in Miami and in Florida. So good luck with that, Francis. Apparently, they have not been able to establish that I'm mentally ill because I worked with plenty of psychologists in the 90s when I started to clean up my act having to do with remembering all the mind control stuff, da 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 da. What's the point? What's my point? When I could not get my handler, Rene de Villegas, who is a really big deal in mind control in this country, and worked like this with Adam Schiff, who is maybe an even bigger deal in this country having to do with mind control. That's why you see the Democrats doing things that don't make any sense. They have got to be mind control. They cannot be that dumb. And I said in the last chat, I said, the whole Somalia thing, Americans are that stupid that this could go on this long, this deep, this bad? And I realized they're using black magic to cloak, CLOACK. Is that how it's spelled? We don't wear cloaks anymore. We wear hoodies, whatever. They're using black magic to cover when they do something, they just cloak it with magic and then nobody sees it. And then when it all of a sudden it gets uncovered, it's like, oh my God. Well, there's no oh my God. It was always there. Where were you? You weren't there because there was something put between you and that. The Minnesota thing, the $300,000, 300,000 children that are missing in the United States. And there's no screaming and ranting and raving. Yes, they're talked about. They found 125. My followers said to me, oh, look, they found 123 kids, 125, they found 80. 300,000. But it doesn't really register because there's a veil, there's a cloak. The veil of forgetfulness is there. They did that with the child care centers, they did that with the 300,000 kids. They did it with the mind control program. When I talked about this in the 90s, of course, everybody was sure that I was mentally ill, that something had happened to me. And then they sent me to the specialist in the Americas for military mind control victims, satanic victims, cult victims, psychiatrist, Dr. Colin Moss, and not mentally ill, severe PTSD, which they call dissociative disease, which you just kind of gone because you can't take it. It's not considered a mental illness. There was no question. Meanwhile, the people running around saying that I'm mentally ill. But those are the same people trying to kill me, so there's a little bit of evidence there. Where am I going with this? I could, 7 or 8 years ago, I said to my handler, this is, it's over. I can't do this anymore. I woke up because he was threatening to do something to one of my grandkids. And I'm not sure he was actually going to do it or if he was just trying to frighten me. I have no idea. And I said, that's it, it's over. And I started to talk about him. I would have never dared, ever, 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 ever dared do that. You don't do that. But I did. But I had to say these words. Why don't you go ahead and just kill all of us? I'm going to kill everybody. Why don't you just go ahead and do it? Just go ahead and do it. Anyway, that was 7 or 8 years ago. I'm doing my chats with my group. That man, Rene de Villegas, is a specialist in microwave military weapons, radionics, psychotronic weapons. His co-partner in crime, Jaime Shushlicki, living in Grove Isle, living in style. University of Miami, I think they do research on these weapons. We'll get into that another point. So I'm doing my chats and he's attacking all my chats and all the people and da 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 da. And we kept battling it out in the other dimensions. And I would say, I don't know why I still need, because you only have a problem if you need a problem. I'd say, I don't understand why I still need this problem. Why do I still need this man around? Because the day I learn what I need to learn, I understand what I need to understand, then God has this law. You don't have the problem anymore. It disappears all on its own. It just poof, it's gone because the problems are only, we humans only have problems because there's something we need to learn, to understand, to see. We need to wake up. So I kept saying, I don't know, I don't get it. And I finally realized about 2 or 3 years into these continuous attacks, which I did talk about, and I realized I learned so much about magic because of the magic that he was doing on me and my group and my family. I went, okay, I get it. I get it. I needed to be here to be able to see this, to analyze it, to diagnose it, and then look at all the new knowledge I have to help teach people white magic. Okay, well, he is basically gone, but not really. I don't think he's dead yet. I think they would have told me if he was. I think he's sleeping out of a car. He's got an STD. I think he's got HIV. I have no idea, but he's not in a good place. Okay. And I'm still getting all this stuff going on. What is it? What? This is not fair. I need to finish with it. I've done enough. And then I see this. It's not a documentary. There's this woman on TV talking about necromancy, when people work with dead bodies. And I had already been thinking about that. And I think that what was done to me when I was 11 or 12, when the CIA sent my family to Cuba, which included me, and they murdered somebody who was a specialist in black magic, very high level. They killed him when he was having sex with me, which was set up. I didn't know the man. I was a victim, an object. Does that fall under necromancy because the guy was dead? Well, I guess once they put the bullet in his head, I'm not sure that that's what they did. I don't remember how they actually killed him. They wanted to transfer his knowledge, his essence to me, which he did. They did. It happened. I'm assuming they gave a ceremony. Okay, so this happened years ago. I've said I used to cry when I would say it. I don't anymore. Disconnected, whatever. So I've been seeing all of this information on the internet about what now I understand falls under necromancy. Well, I assume it does. Maybe it has another name, where they switch bodies. They switch. You are not. I have to put the don't. Yeah, I have the graphic up. This is the graphic of your. All of you have all of these bodies. Okay, here you go. All of those bodies. What they do is all the way to the left. That's your physical body, the one you know that you take and you get your hair cut and you shave your legs or your beard, whatever, and you dress up. That's your physical body. When you die, it just goes back to dust. The next body is your electric body, which is called your etheric. Okay. And then the gold body is your astral body, which is your spirit. You can take, and they all come together like Russian dolls. Got it? A little set of Russian dolls. You can take out from the Russian doll set, from your assemblage of bodies, this spirit body out of the physical body. You can switch it. And that is done many more times than what I have been aware of, including when I processed the last information today. I have a friend who made this incredible change when he met a particular female who, by the way, is associated with a morgue. Morgues need so much supervision that this person ended up becoming totally different. Okay, so the woman did a lot of black magic on him. We kind of know that at this point. I don't know how many people accept it. I know it because I could see it, because she wanted to unalive me through magic. Okay. But this morning I realized this was not a person that was complete in his assemblage of bodies, that was getting hit by black magic and mind control, da 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 da. This was a person that was no longer in their body. And they did a switch, and there was another essence in the body. I remember towards the end of that person's life, the person I'm talking about, their hands did not look the same. I saw their hands and I said, something's the matter here. This is like really the matter. Now I'm going to try and see if somehow I can get a photograph of that person in the last couple of years that they were alive that includes the hands, to be able to see it and to show people, because it would be important for them to understand that person's choices when they were no longer them. They looked like them, but they were not them. Now, does this fall under necromancy? What happened to the body of the person whose spirit they substituted this with? Now, this is a whole zombie issue, but a lot more sophisticated. The zombie issue, as we see on the TV shows, is like your spirit leaves your assemblage of bodies and another spirit comes in, and then that's it. And they walk around and they have clothes on that are human clothes. And if you'll notice that their arms and whatever shirt they have on, their arms look weird. Their legs don't look so weird, and of course, their faces look totally distorted, but their arms, I was thinking of that person, and their hands, and how I had noticed that there was something the matter, but I mean, like, really the matter. It almost looked like demon hands. They were alive, but they were not them. So, why am I talking about this now? Because the reason I'm still not a free person is because I needed to learn this, because that is what the Vatican is trying to do with me. Now, a couple months ago, a month ago, I don't remember when it was, Rene de Villegas had ordered a satanic ritual done on me, and it was being done in a Catholic hospital here in Miami. And when we went in with my group, I had stopped that whole thing, but when we went in, remote viewing and astral bodies, they had refrigerators full of organs. It was el pan de cada dia, which means that was their daily bread. That's what they do there in this hospital, ritzy hospital by the water near Coconut Grove in Miami, Catholic hospital. So as we're moving all sorts of stuff and trying to get people to pay attention, it ended up being that these proceedings on me and on other people, because they didn't set this whole thing up for me, is standard operating procedures, also directed and coordinated with the Vatican. So we went remote viewing. We went to the Vatican. I know I've said this story a couple of times. We went to the Vatican, and it turns out that in the basement they have one hallway. They may have several, I don't know, and in small rooms on the side. And one of them was a human being that they were working on, having to do with this switch that they have been trying to do with me. Remember that I showed you, did I put it up here? I may have it. No, I don't have it. I 2 days ago I gave a chat because the night before I noticed that my left eye was not my eye. It looks great, but that's not my eye. There's something going on there. And I have been telling you that they're working on my third eye because they don't want me to be able to see stuff. I guess I wasn't really wanting to be in tune with the fact that they wanted to do a consciousness shift with me. So, Trump, did you put that call into the Pope? So let me give you another piece of information, because I told Trump to call Pope and tell him to quit because I'm a U.S. asset. They shouldn't be messing around with a U.S. asset. Ask me how much I get paid. Nothing. Ask me how much I got paid since I was born, because it was put in the program when I was born till now. I'm in my 70s. $0. Why? Because everybody who's bad people knows all you have to do is track the money and you'll find out stuff. And they didn't want them to track the money having to do with me. Interesting. Another part of the injustices. My point, this person that I'm talking about, the people I rarely saw. The people that dealt with him as if he was the same. He wasn't the same. Somebody like me can tell the difference, but I rarely saw the person. But you have a significant amount of people like that at top levels. And I think what you guys call it is a clone. It's a switching of bodies, a switching. So I've had a lot of people work on my third eye because that's what makes the bad guys vulnerable, the fact that I can see what they do with details and then they can't really hide it that easily. So what I saw 2 days ago in my eye, it was very light colored. I mean, it was a little bit frightening. It was different from them just working on my third eye. And I had picked up they wanted me not to remember. So I wonder what I should remember from the Bay of Pigs, which was when they started Operation Peter Pan, which was Vatican sponsored. And I want somebody to look up Obama's father came in via a similar program. Was that also Vatican sponsored? Okay. So I'm down this hallway early this morning, putting a stop to what it is that they're doing, or at least hoping I'm putting a stop, they have a room dedicated to Trump. So, Trump, they're messing around with your consciousness. But they also have a room dedicated to the Pope. And they're not giving him vitamin C intravenous to give him strength. They're mind controlling him. Oh, and they have a room dedicated to Nancy Pelosi. We're talking about the dungeons under the Vatican. Now, Nancy Pelosi kind of makes sense. She's very Catholic, and yet she's done all this stuff that's so god awful. Doesn't compute, but she's like really, really Catholic. The Trump thing makes sense. They would want to control him. The me thing, they would make sense. And I tried to see if I could see other rooms, and honestly, I didn't. And I was working on my own thing, but they have an entire hallway in which they're working on people that are powerful and that they want to control. This was this morning. So, does that fall under necromancy? I don't know. We need to know more about that. But you cannot do anything unless you know about human consciousness. You don't even know when you're dead. And you don't know anything about when you're alive. And that's the work that I'm doing, the research that I'm putting out in ways that is tolerable for people, because I love research, but other people don't. They just want the bottom line. So I try to give them the bottom line first, and then afterwards, kind of little by little by little. Now, the authority that backs my work, and maybe should be the reason why you listen to me, is that when I found the Lord's Prayer in Aramaic, not translated from Aramaic to Greek to English, which is the version we're taught, when I found the original Aramaic from Aramaic to English, I cried, because the Lord's Prayer, as it was given originally, totally supports and validates the work that I do, having to do with those energy bodies that I showed you a moment ago. So we need not only to know even more than I know, obviously, we need to get it out to the public. Now, the Mayans, who were the only civilization that had their ascension process gracefully, the only one on planet Earth, and the history, from what I understand, were the Mayans. They started to teach their children as infants about their spirit, their astral body spirit, which was the gold body I showed you a month ago. We never teach kids that. We drag them to church and they hear words. How can we become operational in the other dimensions if you don't know that you have several energy bodies that belong to you, your Russian doll set that are in the other dimensions? And the aliens, they're not going to come and, I don't know what they're going to do, but I don't think they're going to come and plop in on the physical dimension. First place, they're already here on the physical dimension, because most of the ETs, or if not all of them, can't function on the physical dimension, which is the only place where you function. But they can sure hit you hard from the other dimensions. The spirits can hit you hard from the other dimensions. The US military can hit you hard from the other dimensions. And I'm sure the military is also in Israel and Russia, but I am not familiar with them, so I'm not going to start saying things that I cannot back up personally. So learning about consciousness is the only way we're going to survive the next stage that we're already 1 foot into. One of the reasons is because there's only one physical dimension, there's only one causal dimension, only one etheric dimension, only one I don't remember the other dimensions, but there are 6 astral dimensions. Your astral spirit body can function in 6 different, they have six different dimensions. So about 6 or 8 months ago, I said that there had been an activation of mind control victims for them to start doing god awful things that would end up looking like false flags, disrupting political process, whatever, and that there would be more females doing it. I don't know if that part ever panned out. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, I said that on the 24th of December, see, my eye is doing it. See the way my eye is starting to limp? But it's not doing what it did the other day. It's just getting weaker, which means that I'm frightened. Um, I said that on the 24th of December, there was, and I don't remember what the causal was. What happened several months ago was somebody made the decision. Somebody who runs mind control made the decision to press the go button so that all these mind control victims, some of which may not even know that they're mind control victims, you press that button and all of a sudden they act. And then it's like, why on earth did this happen? I don't get it. The person doesn't get it. The family doesn't get it. Nobody gets it except the people that are the handlers or the controls. So anyway, I said the 24th of December, several days ago, that things were going to get after that very bad because there would be a rising up of the deepest desires of people. And much of it would have to do with killing. Okay, what's the deepest desire? But that you just repress. And then it gets toxic, and then it multiplies, and then it becomes like this little animal inside of you. It's called your dark side. The Mayans said that at this time, subpersonalities, which would be fragments of dark side of us, would come up. It would be the last part of end times, would be when our subpersonalities come up, and that the people themselves would be so horrified, and that is what is going to cause the breakdown of society. Well, subpersonalities, stuff coming up, the shame that the Mayans talked about, all this fraud, the sex trafficking, perfect example. Why can't we have all that out and just get it taken care of? Because it'll break down society. Well, that's what the Mayans said. We should pay more attention to them. But what I said would happen on the 24th was that something, it would be like a spark that would trigger a lot of really bad subpersonalities. And I don't remember the rest of the statement that I gave, but it would cause people to behave in a way that nobody would understand. And it wouldn't be like one country going after another. It would augment violence dramatically. It would be like one country making war in another country, or two people that have always been fighting. It would be worse than that. It would be a man who's married, wife, two kids. They look like they're fine, but the man has been frustrated beyond frustration, and has repressed that emotion. Any psychology will tell you that's deadly. And then all of a sudden, because of whatever it was that changed on the 24th of December, this subpersonality that the man has been holding down, because he was a decent man. He didn't want to feel like this. He didn't want to feel like he wanted to kill his whole family. But after the 24th of December, he would not have the ability for that spark, for that energy. He would not have the ability to control it, and he would kill his family, which is what's happening. I don't know who I was listening to today, and they were talking just in their town. Kids killing the parents, and parents killing the kid and the mate. It's a different type of violence, but it has to do with not having learned how to process your legitimate feelings. Because it's, how many of us have felt like killing our whole family when we've got a headache, or we're sick, or we're just too tired? It's just, oh God, I could kill them all, make them go away. It's a feeling, and it's a legitimate feeling. They've been bothering you. But when you have that a lot and you keep pressing it down, and you don't make changes so that it doesn't keep happening, whatever, and you just keep repressing, that's a ticking time bomb. That time bomb went off on the 24th. It went off on the 24th. So we're going to be seeing a lot of that. Okay. I'm going to go get back to the map. Trump. I was not able to sketch the Galactic Federation protection, which would be the Merkaba, because the United States is not vibrating with a balanced frequency. Males are in control. Males are in power. They are calling the shots. What does that translate into specific people? Well, I would not have people around you, Trump, who feel that there must be war in order to survive. That's pure male energy. And that is not good for you, and it's not good for the country. So I don't know who's there. You have very beautiful women working from, and I'm not being critical of any one of them. They really are very attractive. But that doesn't mean they're running with their female energies. That just means that their physical body looks very feminine. But that does not mean that their energies are balanced. And I'm not blaming any of them. I'm just using that kind of like an example. Like when you go to a tarot card reader and they'll say, this is male, this person, this man, and then they'll stop and they'll say, it could be a female that is operating in their male energies. So I would pay attention to everybody, regardless of their physical bodies, who's running too much male energy, because they're changing the frequency of the country. And we don't have the protection we had. What was it, 26th of December, I think was when the map was. We don't have that. And we need that, because things are going to get like really, really ugly. So you have to be as stable as you could be. Anyway, I've talked enough. So necromancy. So my thought in terms of that, I want to finish with that. I think that every funeral home, the Cuban cartel have a lot of people working in funeral homes and cemeteries. Why? No other jobs out there? Yeah. But what you can do to people's bodies. So I would, and the more than the cemetery, the morgues, human organ trafficking, necromancy, the deepest satanic black magic. So you have a funeral home. Okay. Black magic is going to take off like a rocket. You think that funeral home is not going to get bribed? So I think you need to get your task force and get over there and start looking at what's going on in funeral homes. Anyway, thank you for listening. We're on Spotify and Apple, and I'm working diligently on getting out the book that I just put out in Spanish called Mantrista Techniques, Technology for Miracles, which should be repeatable, and they can be repeatable. White magic and superpowers. We're scheduled to have superpowers, human beings. However, many of us are left after all these killing instincts that have been so repressed get taken care of. Okay? Thank you for joining me.